it gonna crash? Is it gonna crash? Is it gonna crash? Is it gonna crash? Space cat. Hold on, let me make sure my audio is good because I've been messing around with it recently. But yeah, we're back. We're absolutely back right now, and we're about to speed run in 30 minutes the perfect mastering chain because that's all I have, and I have to go do something very important. But kombucha, gut health. Let me make sure my audio is good because my audio on last stream I was quiet, but you could still hear all my fucking breaths hella loud. So I'm trying to figure that out because this obviously this mic fucking sucks, but I think it's funny to use it. So
yeah, I check his.
Okay. The fuck? We're still going? Okay. Let's see how it sounds. Hello, hello, hello. Testing 1 2 1 2 1 2. Yo. We're still going. Let's see how it sounds. Hello, hello, hello. Testing 1 2 1 2 1 2. Yo. Yo, 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 yo. Gotta make sure my breaths aren't too loud. This is probably a very fun experience for the viewer. Yo, 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 yo. Gotta make sure my breaths aren't too loud. Alright, I'm gonna crank my output gain a little more. See how it sounds. Crank my output gain a little more. See how it sounds. Yeah, how is it sounding? Let me play a YouTube video at the same time too. What should we play? Let's play this. See how it sounds.
We all know the fantastic NLS trick that I've been spreading. You see them all
find
here.
this video to be
1,
very interesting.
2, 3,
I like watching
4,
it.
5, 6, 7, 8, which gives us a fantastic psychoacoustic harmonic advantage. So this is with it. The fantastic NLS trick that I've been spreading. And this is without it. 1, 2, 3. Hear the big difference. 5, 6, 7, give you one more without it, and then with.
I should probably work. I feel like my breath is really still.
It just raises it up to a tension. But if you look at the meter, we're only hitting at -1. So if I go back and I take it out, we're still only hitting at -1. So we're getting all that amplitude without raising the voltage.
All right.
Gives us we're only hitting at -1. So if I go back and I take it out, raising the voltage.
All right.
Gives us we're only hitting at -1. So if I go back and I take it out, raising the voltage.
Okay. Let me make sure I got this right. All right. So Okay. How to master Jason. Let's just look up. What is the best way to master audio, and what are the industry standards in Lux, SPFL, and wait, DBSPFL and DBS. Let's figure it out. Okay. The best way to master audio today is to aim for a clean dynamic balance between negative 14 LUFS, integrated loudness with negative 1. Okay. Let me do this, okay? Okay. Mastering tips. And then standards. LUFS. First, what is LUFS in audio? LUFS, loudness units full scale, is the standardized measurement of perceived audio loudness that reflects how humans hear sound, not just the signal level. LUFS stands for loudness units full scale, used to measure the perceived. Okay, we already read that sentence. Unlike peak measurements, wait, let me make sure my best. How humans hear sound, not just the signal level. LUFS stands for loudness units full scale, used to measure the perceived. Okay, we already read that sentence. Unlike peak measurements, wait, let me make sure my best. How humans hear sound, not just the signal level. Respectable. Let me know if I can excuse me. What's the thing about this kombucha? Makes you burp. Okay, here we go. Alright. Types of LUFS measurement, integrated LUFS, the average loudness across the entire track. Short-term LUFS, average loudness over a rolling 3-second window. Momentary LUFS measures loudness over a short 400 millisecond window. Interesting. So this has to do with the mastering of the Spotify, Apple, YouTube, and okay. So what is the LUF standard? Is the industry standard for okay, we get it. Uses K weighting filter to simulate how our ears. What is K weighting filter? A 4 dB high shelf boost above 2K to account for higher sensitivity to mid-range frequencies for speech. Okay, that makes sense. A 12 decibel high pass filter at 100 Hz to reduce the perceived loudness of low frequencies. Interesting. The resulting RMS level is then used to calculate 3 main metrics. Overall loudness of the entire piece, short-term LUFS, average. Okay, we get that. So there's long term, short term, and for super short term. LUFS is the global standard for loudness. We get it. We get that. It uses K weighting filter. Okay, so K weighting filter. What is the standard LUF max in a track? Okay, for most modern music streaming platforms, the standard LUFS target for tracks are around -14 LUFS. Some platforms like Apple Music requiring -16. So -14 to -16 LUFS is standard. Alright, it's redundant. Okay. Okay. Industry LUF standard for streaming. Spotify is -14. True peak is -1 dB. Interesting. So you want to be at least -2, right, to account for Amazon. It's interesting how a lot of this mastering is going to have to do with probably a lot of integrating your music to these platforms. Even if you master at -8 LUFS, Spotify will reduce it to 8 decibels to match its -14 LUFS target. So a more dynamic master will sound better. Okay. So that's why it's like me blasting the fuck out of all my music has really been maybe not helping. Okay. Sure headroom usually before mastering. True peak dB. So like -1.0 to -2.0. Use multiband to boost mids highs without squashing lows. Avoid overcompression. Set true peak to -1 decibel to prevent distortion. Test across platforms. Okay, so to be safe, you want to do -16 LUFS and you want to do -2 to account for Amazon. Very interesting. I did not know that. Okay, so they're all playing off of different audio codecs. No, not all streaming platforms and DAWs use different audio codecs, but most do choose different ones depending on their goals. So it's almost like kind of like a game engine, I guess, but for your audio, maybe. Streaming platforms select codecs based on quality versus efficiency trade-offs. Lossy codecs like AAC or APUS compress audio for smaller file sizes, while lossless codecs like FLAC preserves all original data. Okay, so who uses FLAC? Okay, so that makes sense because I've heard that about Tidal, that it's the highest quality. You can put like 96K on Tidal. Amazon uses FLAC. Deezer uses FLAC. Okay. So AAC. What's Ogvorbis? Interesting. Is Ogvorbis the worst one? MP3 is a type of compressed audio file. AAC, advanced audio coding, offers better sound quality than MP3 at similar bit rates. So is that like wave quality? FLAC, free lossless audio codecs, a lossless codecs that compresses audio without losing quality. Ideal for high fidelity music. ALAC, Apple lossless. Apple's lossless codec similar to FLAC used in Mac and iOS environments. APUS, open source codecs optimized for internet telephony. Wave, uncompressed audio format, widely used for professional audio editing and CD quality sound. Apple's equivalent of Wave, commonly used. So what's the difference between a file type and an audio codecs? The audio codecs is what it's being played off of, right? These codecs vary in compression type, file size, device compatibility, so the choice depends on whether you prioritize audio quality. An audio codec is not a file type. It is a type of software or hardware that performs the task of encoding or decoding. Okay. The extension of the wrapper that holds the audio data, such as the WAV, MP3, M4A FLAC. The algorithm or hardware that processes the audio inside that file. File type, the container extension, so like MP3 audio codecs, the software hardware that compresses and decompresses the file. Okay, so it just encodes or decodes. It's just a matter of how efficiently it does that. And in what context. Okay, pretty cool. So What is... Wait. What is the most advanced way to master audio theoretically? The most advanced way to master audio theory combines a deep technical knowledge, genre-specific analysis, and platform-aware signal flows. Okay. Okay. At the mastering, it's treated as the final accountable stage of music production. That means critical thinking, critical listening, detect subtle tone imbalances. Yep. Okay, we feel that. Okay, it's kind of no-brainer shit. Platform-specific stuff. Yeah, we just did that. Signal chain design and processing choices. The most advanced masters are built on engineered signal chains that use multiband compression, apply dynamic EQ, employ tape tube emulation, and sequence processing to preserve clarity while achieving desired loudness. Referencing, that's what I've heard as well. Referencing, a lot of people use referencing. Yeah. So we got multiband compression, dynamic EQ, brick wall limiter, exciter, tape, saturator, tape emulation. All right. So if we're going off of our chain, right? I imagine we need headroom. So I guess it's just like gain control. Then goes into, should we do dynamic EQ probably first, then multi-band compression, and then saturation / tape emulation, and brick wall limiter. So honestly, it's not that complicated, really. We just got to make sure that at this final chain we go -14 LUFS. Actually, let's keep it safe. -16 LUFS. And -2 true peak dB. The goal for this is harmonic increase, texture. Multiband compression is for dynamic control. And dynamic EQ is for problem frequencies. And then gain control for headroom. Okay. Advanced theory includes with high peak signal to noise ratio and carefully tracked spacing, classical, symphonic, jazz, and acoustic with dynamic range preservation and natural tone balance, film and TV mastering with dialogue clarity and sound design integration. Interesting. So you have to master depending on the genre. Do 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 do. Okay. Oh, integration of AI and automation. Yeah, this is what's that one plugin called? Ozone. Is that what it is? The one that lets you fucking proper metadata tagging, correct file formats, dithering and bit depth conversion.
Yo, 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 what's up?
What's up? What's up? I'm live right now, but just a heads up.
You're live?
Yeah.
Oh, nice. What are you streaming?
I'm streaming speedrunning, learning how to master.
Ooh, very cool. Nice.
Yeah. Dude, I'm learning about dithering and bit depth standards and mastering.
Nice. I was just talking to my friend last night about that. He was like, bro, you gotta master your music.
Facts.
And I was like, yeah, I should probably learn. And he was like, yeah, your stuff probably isn't as loud or something as it could be and doesn't have as much details or something.
Yeah,
And I was like,
exactly.
yeah, you're probably right. And then he was like, pull up a Drake song and we'll listen to it on my speaker. Then we'll listen to your song on my speaker. And we did it. And then I was like, all right, you're right.
It really does. It's kind of it's like you know how when you like compress your voice and you like add all that shit to make your voice sound better. It's essentially you doing the
Yeah.
exact same thing to just the whole song in general. And then on top of that too, there's like a whole there's like standards when it comes to the streaming services of like certain levels things should be at, and if they aren't met, then it'll like manually compress it or bring it down. So the music
Yeah.
that you like to hear in your like the song that you made and that you like to hear might not be the same one that gets put on the streaming platforms just because they have built-in compressors.
Mhm.
So yeah, it's a big part of it is like figuring out what those are and like making music within those guidelines so that you can have like a preservation of the sound that you want.
Yeah.
It's really cool. Um Best practice, export your master at 24-bit or 32-bit float for processing, then dither when reducing to 16-bit for distribution. Interesting.
Okay.
I have to like fully understand that. I don't fully understand that. What the hell? Because like what? Okay, so dithering is the process of adding low-level random noise to a signal before reducing bit depth. This randomizes quantization errors, replacing correlated distortion with a constant noise floor. That's usually inaudible. What? You see what I'm saying? It just gets to a level of complication where you have to start like learning about code in like electricity to start like really understanding what the fuck's
Yeah.
going on.
Yeah.
It's a bunch of computer jargon. Okay, so 24-bit offers 144 decibel dynamic range, allows high resolution processing without quantization noise. What the fuck is quantization noise? Quantization noise is the small error introduced when converting an analog audio signal into a digital one. It arises because digital systems can only represent a finite number of discrete amplitude levels, so the continuous analog waveform is rounded to the nearest available step during the quantization stage of analog to digital conversion. Huh? Okay, so quantization noise is the small error introduced when converting an analog audio signal into a digital one. Okay, so when you convert, I guess there's errors that occur. It arises because digital systems can only represent a finite number of discrete amplitude levels. So the continuous analog waveform is round. Okay, so basically it's just like it can't fully capture what's going on. So it's got to like round it up to like make it digital convertible. Kind of like, I guess, when you're like taking a picture of something in real life, you're not actually getting every single photon of light being represented. It's all like combination of like certain computer colors to represent reality. Interesting. Interesting. So the different bit depths is, so 24 processes without that noise. 32 offers maximum range and precision. So 32 has 1,528 theoretical dBs of range. And 16-bit, the standard for final delivery, offers 96 decibels of dynamic range. So the practice that they're saying is you go from 32, which is the highest quality possible, and then you bring it down to 16-bit for Spotify, because Spotify only does 16-bit. So you got to go from a higher quality file down to a lower quality file, but still make it sound good. Interesting. Dithering is the process of adding low-level random noise to a signal before reducing bit depth that randomizes the quantization errors, replacing correlated distortion. Okay, so it's you're basically you're like you're giving it a bunch of bullshit information, so it fucks all that up instead of fucking up the information that you really want. Maybe? When you reduce bit depth, the finite number of amplitude values can't perfectly represent the analog signal. This causes quantization distortion, especially noticeable in quiet passages. What? Quantization distortion refers to the errors introduced when continuous signals are converted into discrete values during the quantization process, leading to a loss of information and fidelity. Hold on a sec, I gotta... He's still in here? Oh no, he's gone. He's gone. My bad. I scared him away with all these numbers. Alright. I'm gonna be back in a sec, hold on. Alright, I'll be back. I gotta go do some shit. But yeah, I'll be back. I'm gonna go live in like a few hours, and then continue this part 2. So